is Veena from Patter Cake, the channel that's about baking and much more. Here's where you'll find quick and tasty recipes for new cooks and those with less time to spend in the kitchen. And if you're looking for authentic ingredient proportions and all the essential instructions for each recipe, you've come to the right place. Okay then, let's get cracking with today's recipe. Welcome back. With the festival of Holi just around the corner and quite a few requests for this video, I'm now going to show you how to make a smart mini version of the popular Maharashtrian Puran Podi, a soft Puran-filled delicacy. This video is especially for those who have never made a Puran Podi before or have tried to make it but not yet got it right. Well, I assure you, the tips in this video will help you make delicious Puran Podis with ease, and you'll learn how to accomplish this right here at Patter Cake. Let's take a look at the ingredients. For the puran, we'll need chana dal, grated jaggery, sugar, salt, turmeric powder, oil, ghee and ground cardamom. For the dough, we'll need atta, maida, salt, turmeric powder and oil. And for rolling the puran podis, some rice flour. We'll start by preparing the puran, the sweetened chana dal filling. This is 1 cup of chana dal that I had soaked in 3 cups of water for 2 hours. Pre-soaking the dal reduces its cooking time. Let's add a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder and 2 teaspoons of oil to the soaked dal and cook it in a pressure cooker. But remember, you'll have to add around 2 cups of water into the body of the cooker. While the dal is cooking, let's prepare the dough for our Puran Podis. Let's sift 1 cup of atta and 2 tablespoons of maida. To this, we'll add a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, a 1/4 teaspoon of turmeric powder to give the dough an attractive light yellow color, and 1 teaspoon of oil. We'll mix in some room temperature water a little at a time till we get a soft dough. It has to be soft so it can stretch smoothly over the stuffed puran later on. Let's cover and keep it aside for 30 to 40 minutes or till we get the puran ready. Just before the cooker comes to full pressure, you'll have to reduce the heat to low and cook the dal for 5 minutes. Now here's our cooked dal. It's nice and soft but not overcooked and mashed to a pulp. Let's drain the excess water. This can be used to make a special Maharashtrian dal called Katachi Amti. That's a mildly spiced dal to which a little puran is added for extra taste. I'll transfer the drained dal to a non-stick pan and then mash it well with a potato masher. Okay, now it's time to add in a 1/4 teaspoon of salt, 3/4 of a cup of grated jaggery and a 1/4 cup of sugar to the mashed dal and start cooking the puran. In the beginning, the mix will be somewhat loose and runny. At this stage, it tends to splatter, and so to avoid getting any blisters from the hot puran, you could hold a plate or thali over the pan as you continue stirring the mix. After around 10 minutes, let's add 2 teaspoons of pure ghee to the puran and continue stirring it as it begins to thicken once again. After another 5 minutes, our puran is now ready. A standard test for checking the puran involves sticking a spoon or spatula into it. If the puran is of the right thickness, it will hold the spoon upright and prevent it from toppling over. Finally, we have to press the puran through a puran machine or a sieve. You could use a potato masher or a serving spoon to do this. What we'll get in the vessel below will be a creamy, smooth puran, free from any lumps. Now let's mix in 1 teaspoon of ground cardamom. Coming back to our dough after 40 minutes or so, it is now a little looser, but when we add some more oil to it, it will be just right. I'll wet my hand and bring the dough together. Let's add 1 teaspoon of oil to the dough and start kneading it so it becomes softer and more elastic. Let's add 1 more teaspoon of oil and continue kneading the dough for another 2 to 3 minutes. Remember, the dough has to be as soft as the puran. Only then will it be able to stretch smoothly over the puran stuffed into it. By now, you should be able to stretch the dough like this, or at least reasonably close to this. Depending on the quality of wheat your atta is made from, you might need to add 1 or 2 tablespoons more of maida to the dough to make it more stretchable. Let's drizzle a few drops of oil on the dough to coat it and keep it from drying out. When you're learning to make puran polis, it's best to start out by making smaller ones. So I've divided the dough into 8 small portions. With experience, you could make just 5 portions with the same dough. Since we have 8 dough balls, I've shaped 8 balls of puran, each one around 1.5 times the size of the dough balls. That left me with some extra puran, enough for around 2 more puran polis. I'll use part of this for making the katachi amti that I had mentioned earlier. Here I have some rice flour for rolling out the puran polis. Rice flour helps to roll out the soft dough more easily without it sticking to the rolling board. But you could use wheat flour or maida if you want. Let's make the first puran puri. As you can see, the puran ball is a little larger than the portion of dough. In a truly traditionally made puran puri, the quantity of puran is around 3 times that of the dough, and the dough itself is even more stretchable than the one we are using today. Let's shape the dough into a deep cup and place the puran ball inside it. Let's press the puran ball down, at the same time taking care to see that it remains below the edge of the dough. Gently press the dough upwards so you can easily draw the ends together and seal the stuffed ball. Flatten it lightly and coat it in rice flour. Let's stuff another dough ball. To start with, you could use equal portions of puran and dough. In fact, that's how puran polis are commonly made today, because it makes it easier to roll out the puran polis, and with a sturdier outer covering, it's easier to get them to puff up nicely. But this also means you'll have puran polis with a slightly thicker dough covering. In a well-made puran poli, the outer covering is really thin. That's why even though we are making mini puran polis, I've kept the puran balls a little larger than the dough portions so the covering can be as thin as possible. Liberally dust the rolling board with rice flour and first flatten the stuffed dough ball gently by hand. Don't exert too much pressure on the puran poli while rolling it out. As it gets larger in diameter, keep turning the rolling board around to make it easier to roll the puran poli out evenly. Flip the puran poli at least once so that both sides get rolled out to an even thickness. Try to coax the puran towards the outer edges as you roll out the puran poli. The puran polis we are making are closer to 6 inches in diameter. My tawa had been heating on a medium flame for around 2 minutes before I transferred this puran poli to it. Since puran polis have a thin outer covering, they need to be cooked on medium heat. After a few seconds, when bubbles start forming on the upper surface and the puran poli starts puffing up, drizzle some ghee all around it. Now, flipping the puran poli with a spatula at this stage isn't a good idea because of the risk of tearing the delicate dough covering on the underside. But here's what you could do. Slide the puran poli onto a plate and then supporting it with your fingertips, flip the plate and release the puran poli onto the tawa. As it puffs completely, drizzle ghee around it again so the other side too develops brown spots. At this point, you could flip the puran poli with a spatula. Flip it one more time if necessary, fold it and then take it off the tawa. We'll now roll out the second puran poli. Let's cook this one a little differently. As soon as air pockets start forming, we'll directly transfer it to a plate like before and flip it over. After that, we'll drizzle ghee around it so the underside starts browning. This way too, you could have a fully puffed up puran poli. Let's drizzle ghee over its upper side and flip it using the plate again. Let's stuff 2 more dough balls and continue making our puran polis. Like I'd mentioned earlier, puran polis made in the old traditional way have a delicate and thin outer covering. The rolled out puran polis too therefore need to be handled extra gently. In fact, you won't be able to pick one up and transfer it to the tawa with your bare hands. Instead, you'll need to roll it over your rolling pin and then unroll it on the tawa like this. The outer covering being thin, I'll show you how thin later on. It could sometimes crack as the puran poli puffs up. When that happens, you'll see steam escaping from the cracks. If you block those with the spatula, the puran poli will puff up again. But even if it doesn't, the puran poli will still be soft and tasty. Another thing, once you get used to making puran polis the way I've shown you, you may find it cumbersome to use a plate to flip them. In that case, you could move on to flipping them by hand, like this. Of course, taking care not to burn your fingertips. Finally, here are all the puran polis we made today. Let me show you how soft a puran poli is and how delicate the outer coating needs to be. Puran polis are traditionally relished by generously drizzling melted ghee all over them, or are enjoyed with warm milk. The taste of soft melt-in-the-mouth puran polis is out of this world. So do try making them. Trust me, you'll be so glad you did. Hope you enjoyed today's video. And do stop by again for yet another quick and tasty recipe. Till then, take care. Happy cooking!